NASA astronaut Scott Tingle tests out his spacesuit in preparation for the first spacewalk at the International Space Station this year. Credit NASA. Twitter update: NASA TV is back on the air this morning after the government shutdown was lifted last night. You can now watch the live webcast here, courtesy of NASA TV. 2 NASA astronauts will head outside the International Space Station ISS Tuesday, Jan. 23 to conduct the first spacewalk of the year. Expedition 54 crew members Scott Tingle and Mark Van Hey will spend about 6.5 hours outside the ISS, working on the station's robotic arm, Canadarm2. Tingle, who will be conducting the first spacewalk of his career, was expected to follow Van Hey out of the station's Quest airlock shortly after 7 a.m. S1200 GMT. NASA TV was not yet on the air as the spacewalk due to the now-resolved government shutdown, which ended overnight Monday. But about 1 hour into the spacewalk, the agency's live webcast with commentary was back. "This is going to be a lifetime memory for sure, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and fixing up the systems that we'll be working on," Tingle told Space.com in a live, in-flight interview last Thursday, Jan. 18. Gallery: the most memorable spacewalks in history. The 2 spacewalkers will replace one of 2 hands on the end of Canadarm2 known as latching end effectors leads. Canadarm2's other hand, Leah, was replaced during another spacewalk on October 5, 2017. That was Van Hey's first spacewalk, and Tuesday's spacewalk will be his third. Leah and LEB are identical grappling devices located at opposite ends of Canadarm2, each weighing about 440 pounds. 200 kilograms and measuring about 3 feet 1 meter long. They're used to latch onto incoming cargo spacecraft, but they also allow Canadarm2 to move around the outside of the station in an inchworm-like motion, a view of the Canadarm2 robotic arm, with their latching end effector in the foreground. Credit ESA. Tingle and Van Hey will replace LEB with a spare that has been stored outside the ISS since 2009, when it was delivered by the Space Shuttle. Tim Braithwaite, the ISS program liaison for the Canadian Space Agency, said Thursday at a news conference previewing the spacewalks. The former LEB will also be stored outside the ISS after it is replaced, Braithwaite said. Both astronauts have trained extensively for this spacewalk, but Tingle said he still anticipates that some of the tasks will prove challenging. "There's a point in the spacewalk where I have to get out of my boot restraint, and I have to go over to my partner's boot restraint, and I have to move him while he's holding a massive piece of equipment from the robotic arm, so there's a lot of mass there," he said. "I think that will be tricky. I'll probably take that slow and be very cautious." Anchored to the International Space Station with a portable foot restraint, NASA astronaut Joe Acaba prepares to work on the Canadarm2 robotic arm during a spacewalk on October 20, 2017. Credit NASA. Although NASA does not schedule in much spare time to kick back and enjoy the view during spacewalks, Tingle said the astronauts will have a few minutes of adaptation time at the beginning of the spacewalk. That time is intended to make sure we get our bearings right, and we kind of get adjusted on what kind of forces we need to move our body around with a suit on, Tingle said. "They'll likely have a few minutes of downtime in between tasks," Tingle said. "I do expect a little bit of time to kind of look down at the Earth and look up at the stars and the moon and whatever else we can see there." This will be the 206th spacewalk conducted by astronauts at the International Space Station in support of the station's assembly and maintenance. On Jan. 29, Van Hey will conduct another spacewalk with astronaut Norishige Kanai of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, during which the 2 crew members will store the degraded LEB outside the ISS as a spare. Email Hanneke Wietering at Wietering@space.com or follow her at Hanneke Science. Follow us at space.com, Facebook and Google. Original article on space.com.